Hi and welcome, Mr. Kobayashi and Mr. Smith. Thank you guys for being here today. Means a lot that you guys are willing to be here for mediation. I just want to let you guys know that we are here until 3:30 today, so we have about an hour for today's session, and we're looking to have a good conversation that you guys weren't previously able to have face to face, and see if we can understand the situation a little more on both sides and possibly come up with a resolution. It's my understanding that you guys are here because of a conflict between the neighbors, Mr. Smith and Mr. Kobayashi Sr., so your father. And it seems that there has been a series of issues that have been going on that we can go ahead and uncover. I want to let you guys know everything is confidential that we discuss here, and won't be used against anyone in court. And I just want to let you guys know it's a safe place to talk and discover any other deeper issues going on or anything that's even not related to these specific conflicts between each other. So to start, each of you will have a turn to speak about what's been going on and tell your side of the story in detail and fill in any gaps or anything that maybe the other person didn't know. And then the second part of the session will focus on the future and seeing how we can resolve it and see that you guys in the end have a better relationship as neighbors. So we'll take this time to truly dig into your basic needs and see if there's anything we can do to help you guys today. I just want to let you guys know that each of you can just hold your questions and responses till later, and you have pen and paper in front of you, write down anything that comes to mind just so we can have everything run smoothly. So why don't we start? I'd like to hear, Mr. Kobayashi, your side of everything that's been going on between you and actually your father and Mr. Smith.
Yeah, so, well, this is my parents' house, and they've been living here for years. Mm-hmm. The issue at hand is that Mr. Smith over here and my dad have been becoming more and more hostile towards each other, and what I personally think is that he's just a little racist, and since we're of Japanese descent, he feels like he needs to harm us, or I don't know.
What makes you think that it's racism?
Well, you see, we had a huge backyard with all sorts of plants and koi pond, and Dale over here decided to throw some, I don't know what it was, some sort of poison over it, and it affected my father's vision. It killed all our plants. It killed all the koi fish that, as a family, our tradition was each year we would buy our mother these koi fish for Christmas, and all of them were getting so big and old, and they all died, and it's so sad because my mother passed away. It was one of the few things that kept us, thinking of her. It was a nice reminder of her, I just go out there and sit and just think of her. It was just like a labor of love.
So the property that was damaged means more to you than just the value of the property.
There's no monetary value to it, It's more sentimental than anything.
So why don't you start from the beginning and just tell me the exact situation that happened and how he destroyed the yard.
For months, he's physically harmed my father. He's, thrown the poison, killed all the fish.
And when exactly was this? When did this one happen?
I'd say maybe a couple months ago.
Okay.
And, my father lives all alone in the house now that my mother's gone. And so just to keep him safe and to have peace of mind, I put a few cameras here and there. And this guy decides he wants to all of a sudden come start knocking our cameras out. He took a couple cameras out and...
And did you see him firsthand do this?
Well, yes. We saw it. He came. We have cameras. We can see everything. He came and whacked it with a broom. like a freaking crazy person. Anyway, you know,
Why do you think that he did this?
the only conclusion I can draw is just racism. You know,
Why do you
he
feel?
sees that we're different than him, and he just feels like this is his way of getting back to
Have
us,
you
you know?
felt like there's any reason why he, like, has he done anything of the racist kind of actions towards you in the past, or have you seen this before from him? Is there any reason why you're saying that specifically, that it's racism?
I wouldn't say specific actions, but I would say there's underlying tones of racism. He's called us "you people" before, which just implies towards racism.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, some of his friends look like white supremacists. They come looking a little crazy out of blue,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But
So basically,
again, my issue here isn't for money. Like, I'm not here to get money out of him. I just want our backyard to be the same as it was before, when my mother was still here. You know?
So, from my understanding, you feel, you feel that your father, that you guys are unsafe. So you feel unsafe in
Yes.
your home.
We're at unease, definitely.
Yeah. So you, it sounds like you feel that Mr. Smith has personal reasons for having this conflict with you guys based on race, and you feel that that's the deeper issue of why he's doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Sure. So what is at stake for you with this mediation? So why are you here?
Well, I would really just like to come to not a monetary conclusion, but more, you know, how we can get things back to the way they were before. Whether it's physical property or our relationship with our neighbor, I just want things to be better.
Okay, so what keeps you from giving up? So why are you so insistent on fixing things with Mr. Smith?
Well, I don't live next to him, but he lives next to my father. And, you know, neighbors are supposed to be helpful and kind towards one another, especially my father. He's old, you know, if he ever falls to the ground, like, I want to make sure the guy that lives next door to him is someone that's willing to help, not just sit there and watch him die.
So what hesitations do you have within mediation? So what do you feel could potentially happen, or what do you think are the downfalls in mediation, or what do you think could potentially stop you and Mr. Smith from coming to a conclusion today?
I can see stubbornness on his behalf, or denial being...
What makes you say that?
A roadblock. And I say that because he doesn't even believe there were fish to begin with, which is so ridiculous.
I looked, it wasn't there.
That's so insane to me. Like, that is like a dagger in the heart, you know? Like, we got these fish every single year for my mother, and like, it almost like tears me up to think about it.
So you are upset because Mr. Smith is denying that there are even fish there.
Yeah.
And these are very important fish to you. It's very meaningful relating to your mom's death.
Yes.
So Mr. Smith, do you hear that side of that the koi fish actually means something?
Yeah, I heard everything,
you know
but the fish wasn't there, trust me. Like, I went over to the backyard and it wasn't there. I don't know, like, it probably existed long before, like, I moved in, but since I've never seen the fish.
Okay, so
That is a fact.
We'll continue on with Mr. Gobayashi. So you obviously are upset that Mr. Smith doesn't think that there were fish there. So you have you tried to resolve this already? What got you guys to mediation today? So have you already tried to talk to Mr. Smith at all?
we went to court, and the DA referred us to mediation.
Mm-hmm.
But his suggestion on the amount the damages were worth was about roughly $3,500.
Mm-hmm.
So, again,
and what specifically is that money for?
The dollar signs mean nothing to me. You know, I just want things to go back to the way they were.
Okay, so what does that mean to you? What is the way that things were?
That
before?
means we need to have 9 koi fish, a couple 10-year-old fruit trees of different sorts, and so, you know, I just want to make sure we can get all that back to the way it was.
Okay. So that to you is how you see your home, and your home isn't complete without all these things that are meaningful to you.
That backyard was the heart to our home. And
okay.
It's just the heart has been ripped out and died in the garbage can.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. You feel that way. So.
By this motherfucker.
Are you hearing this? This is calling me racist, but this is inappropriate.
You're a killer.
Just said.
You killed fish.
I killed.
You're a murderer.
Fish never existed. It was in your imagination, dude.
So it sounds like, Mr. Kobayashi, that you are upset because these are meaningful things to your family, and it's understandable that you are heartbroken over this, and that you are wishing that it'll be resolved and back to how it was, so you and your father can go ahead and live back how it once was and be happy and have your dad feel safe, because like you said, he's 86 and you know, he needs everyone deserves to feel like they're safe in their own neighborhood.
Of course.
So I'm sorry, I just want to clarify again, have you tried to resolve this already? Have you talked to have you talked to Mr. Smith face to face?
No, he was karate chopping in his garage.
I was practicing my martial arts, okay?
Why don't we,
this is what I mean. Karate chopping? What kind of rhetoric is that? It's so racist.
Why don't we go ahead and dig into this? So ridiculous. Why don't you tell me about that situation? What happened there with the garage?
I was practicing my martial arts like I always do in the garage. And he shows up out of nowhere so hostile and violent and just so angry. And then he said, I can fight you if I wanted to right now. And I didn't even know what this is.
The guy's foot was like almost to my face. Man.
You got my space, okay? I was doing my thing.
Okay, so you're saying, Mr. Smith came onto your property, to your garage, when you were practicing your martial arts, and it sounds like you were threatened by him being there, and you thought that he was coming over in a hostile manner.
Yeah.
So, what was the conclusion of that meeting?
Nothing. He left and said, I could F you up. That's what he said. But he said, I'm not going to do that today.
Okay. So, and that made you feel unsafe?
Of course.
Okay.
It didn't make me feel unsafe because I know with my moves, I can take care of this situation. It made me feel unsafe for my dad. You know?
Okay.
It's just, he can't take care of himself. So.
Okay, so why don't we actually go ahead and give Mr. Smith a chance to tell his whole side of the story. Thank you, Mr. Kobayashi, for telling us. I just want to make sure, is there anything else that, anything else you want to address, or any other issues that you've had with Mr. Smith, or anything?
Well, no, I think we covered it all.
Okay, so Mr. Smith, why don't you go ahead and start by just telling your side of, so what's been going on between you and Mr. and Mr. Kobayashi?
Well, first of all, whatever he said, it was all false, okay? The fish never existed. Whatever, like, 8, 9 fish that you said they're never there.
So why don't we start, let's take a step back right now, Mr. Smith, and let's start from the beginning. So tell me about the origin of your relationship with Mr. Kobayashi Sr.
So, Mr. Kobayashi, his dad, originally lived in the house. Then I moved, of course, later, and then it was cool. Like, he doesn't speak English, which is cool. Like, I say hi to him. He seems like a really nice person. And then his mother passed away, and so he started living with his dad. Mm-hmm. And that's when, like, things got wrong. Like, I was just putting some weed killer in my backyard, and then all of a sudden he stormed into my house saying that I kill their trees, I kill their fish. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, what? Intentionally, I never tried to, like, do anything to your house. Like, I don't have anything to go against you or your dad. So
you felt attacked out of nowhere.
Yeah, I feel like he just, like, a spoiled brat, literally. They have, like, what, $35,000 worth of backyard. Like, who does that? Like, that's just crazy.
You see, he's jealous and he wanted to kill it all. And racist.
So, what Mr. Smith is, I believe you're saying, is that you feel that you had nothing to do with
no
damage
absolutely
that was done in the yard?
No, I am not a racist person either. Like, there's no reason for me to attack their backyard, like, as a sign of racism. That's just crazy. And besides that, they have a camera, and they have multiple cameras. One of them was, like, facing towards my bathroom. And I saw that. I was like, this is insane. Like, why do you have a camera facing my bathroom while I'm taking a shower? Like,
yeah.
That's just invasion of my privacy.
So you were upset that there was a camera.
Yeah.
And so was this, when you were upset about the camera, was this before the damage was done to their yard? So, because I understand that that's possibly the timeline. And so maybe that's why Mr. Kobayashi was thinking that you had done something to them.
Yeah, I went to the backyard and I broke the freaking camera before they start claiming that I destroyed their trees and their fish. Mm-hmm. So I believe that's where the anger came from.
You already...
You can see what would lead us to believe that he did everything else.
Right,
once
so it's an accusation without a
Once
fact.
a psycho, always a psycho.
Okay, Mr. Kobayashi, if you please... I just want to make sure I want to hear Mr. Smith's side of this and finish up, and then we can go ahead and try to talk face to face. So why don't right now, Mr. Smith, you just direct your talking towards me, and I can go ahead and listen to you. And Mr. Kobayashi, if you have anything, you can go ahead and write down any comments or questions. So Ms. Smith, why don't you direct everything towards me for now? Mm-hmm. So let's go back into it. So let's see the cameras. So the cameras, you did knock down one of the cameras up your head. So why don't you explain what happened there?
So I saw the camera that was facing my house. Mm-hmm. It's been there, and I saw the blinker, and I was like, okay, so it actually works. Like, it's on. And that's what irritates me. I was like,
what made you knock it down, though? So
because I went to their house, and his dad doesn't understand English, so I told him, I was like, sorry, but you have to take that camera down because it's facing my property, and I don't want that there. But he doesn't listen to me. Mm-hmm. So I had to take...
So you did try to talk to Mr. Kobayashi about this
before.
Right. Okay. And from my understanding, you were arrested? So why don't you go ahead and tell me what happened with that? It says on your file that you were arrested according to the narcotics team showed up, and that you had claimed it was Mr. Kobayashi
which it was not.
Who turned you in.
Ridiculous. Probably one of the people that comes to buy the drugs from the house.
Yeah, he keeps on saying that I'm a drug dealer. I'm not a drug dealer. I have wife and I have an ex-wife, and now I have my own kids. Like, no.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about that a little bit? So, what does that mean? What does your family mean to you?
My family means everything. Even though me and my ex, we broke up, but my kids means everything to me. So I'm right now, suffering from losing my kids because she has the full custody, and so I'm not a criminal or a racist. Like, I don't have the time or the energy.
Mm-hmm. So you're already going through a rough time.
Right, I am going through a rough time. I don't have like the energy to deal with his dad. Whatever they are accusing me of doing, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a racist, I'm this and that, like, that's just...
So it sounds like you are wanting to resolve this. Is that correct?
Yes, I want them to understand everything and everything on the table, be clear of, I'm not a bad person, and I want to show them that this is wrong. What they're thinking is wrong. So,
what is at stake for you in this situation? What would you like to get out of this mediation session?
I would have to say, first off, have a better relationship with him and his father, like them understanding me, and that's a lot of money they're trying to ask from me, and apparently I don't have that much. And
so you don't think that you should be responsible for paying?
Yeah, because I never poisoned their trees or their fish.
Yes, you did.
Those koi fishes never existed, and what they worth like the
way more than we're asking you for.
So, what hesitations do you have about this mediation then? So, do you feel that it is possible to resolve the situation, or do you feel that there is anything that's going to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, I think like they're still going to think that I'm this and this and this without ever changing their minds.
What specifically bothers you that they think about you?
They think I'm a racist, and I'm some kind of a criminal living next door.
It seems that
well, you are.
That is an emotional subject between both of you. Is the racism topic that is going on between you two? So
and it hurts me because I have my neighbors accusing me for something that I never intentionally done.
And how does that make you feel?
That makes me feel very, very upset, very mad, for sure.
So you don't want to have anyone thinking that about you?
No, definitely not. I don't think anyone would want other people to think that about them. And his comments were so harsh towards me.
So have you tried to resolve this situation before? Have you talked to him?
Yes, I tried. Actually, the camera incidents, I talked to him, he ignored me. And then I went to his house to talk about the trees.
So why don't you talk about the garage situation? So
yes.
My understanding, you went over there to...
I went over there to talk to him, like, to explain that I didn't do any of that. But then he was practicing... martial arts, which is cool. But then he didn't stop. He saw me standing there, and then he was getting closer and closer and almost kicked me in the face. So that's when I got mad, and I didn't fight back because, I'm not a violent person. And
so nothing got resolved from the meeting in the
No. He just continued doing what he was doing, and it almost hit me. That was just rude.
So, it offended you when...
Yeah, he offended me with his words, he offended me with his actions. I tried to, go to his home to talk to him and his father, and then they just slammed the door on my face. I think they're being racist because they think I'm a white guy, like some kind of, I don't know. They're probably racist towards me.
Wow.
So you feel that they are purposely not talking to you about the situation?
Yeah.
What makes you feel that way?
Because they slam the doors on my face. They just scream at me. And
is it possible that this is happening on both sides?
No, I never done any of that to them. They never actually came to my door and
So you're saying neither Mr. Kobayashi have come to talk to you?
No, they screamed at me once for smashing their cameras. That was it. Yeah. Okay.
So this has never fully been addressed face to face. All of this this. Okay.
No.
So let's see. We've got you are worried about the cameras. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the that are facing your house, and that makes you feel also unsafe in your house because it's an invasion of your privacy. So I see some similarities between both of you, some themes that of the basic human need to feel safe, and it seems like I'm actually seeing a lot of similarities between you two, and that you, Mr. Kobayashi, you and your father, you want you both to feel safe in your own home and in your own neighborhood, feel like you belong, based on who you are and just everything, and just be seen as a nice neighbor and have your things feel safe and you physically and emotionally feel safe and in your own house. And you as well, Mr. Smith, it seems that you also have that same concern of safety, and that you feel unsafe in your own home because of the Kobayashis, and that you feel also threatened and physically and emotionally, and the cameras invading your privacy. So I don't know if you guys can see that similarity, but you guys both have some very similar needs and at the bottom of this all. So I don't know if that can at least help your mindset see that maybe there's some way that we could go past all of the racist comments and the racism and see that we are all humans with that kind of need to belong and to feel safe. Do either of you see that similarity?
I can see the similarity. It's just that, he's not a very respectful person.
What makes you say that? What makes you say?
I mean, over this entire mediation so far, he's been calling me so many names, and he's been very negative and rude person.
No.
Calling me a racist without, do you hear anything racism coming out?
So why don't we,
I think
I'd like for both of you
to... in the pudding. Okay. The vandalism.
I'd like both of you to try this exercise. Mr. Smith, why don't you explain what you're feeling with an I statement? So say nothing that has to do with directing it about Mr. Kobayashi or his father or their actions, but saying just how you feel. So why don't you start by saying, I feel in an emotion, and go ahead and explain why, and what Mr. Kobayashi might be doing that causes that, and then go ahead and let him know what you are needing from him right now.
So just my feelings about anything.
About anything. Yes.
I feel.
You can go ahead and take a moment to be with yourself.
I feel upset, depressed, puzzled.
And why? Why do you feel that way?
I feel upset over Mr. Kobayashi for accusing me of all this. Also with my ex and my kids,
And so
assuming you're racist.
And so what do you need from Mr. Kobayashi at this point?
some understanding towards me and like just be a nicer person. Not.
And so, Mr. Gabashi, what did you just hear Mr. Smith say?
That she's not happy. That he's not happy.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Why don't you try again and try to hear the reasonings behind why Mr. Kobayashi or Mr. Smith was not happy? Do you want to try again and try to, with no judgment, just listen to what Mr. Smith has to say?
I'm willing to listen.
Okay.
Well, my feelings?
Yeah. So why don't you try to say one more time to Mr. Kobayashi about how you feel in this situation, or why?
Well, I feel very upset over your words towards me, the wrong accusations, and I am a good person. I am not what you said about me. So I hope that you can, give some time and we can talk and truly understand each other, and you can tell that I'm not a racist person. I love Asian cultures, and I respect you and your dad, but I do not want this to continue to happen because I don't want to live next to a neighbor that's just so negative and thinks bad about me. No.
So, Mr. Kobayashi, what did you hear Mr. Smith say?
I think he's just.
Why don't you just go ahead and just tell me back what Mr. Smith said?
That he's unhappy with the situation and that he wants it to be more of a livable situation as neighbors. So then why don't you go ahead and tell Mr. Smith how you feel and why and what you need from Mr. Smith. Because it seems that you have a little more specific needs that you need. Yeah. Well, I feel uneasy. I feel betrayed. I feel unhappy. And why? The reasons being is that I wouldn't expect my neighbor to be doing these wild, racist things of that sort, So what do you need from Mr. Smith? I would need... You need him to find a way to fix the situation that he's caused. So specifically, what are you asking from Mr. Smith as the resolution? What is your resolution here? To just get things back to the way they were before, and I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for it to be the way it was before. So you want your property to be fixed, restored, and so what specifically are you? So you're asking for the trees, you're asking for the koi fish, and the pond damage, and the refabrication.
Don't read that for me.
So then you, Mr. Smith, what is your proposition for the resolving this situation? Are you willing to pay for the contractor to come and fix his yard? Are you willing to pay the $3,500 to the contractor and to fix all of the things that Mr. Kobayashi is asking?
$35,000. That's a lot of money. You can like. $3,500. $3,500 is a lot of money for. I mean, I guess I'll do it. But then
What do you need in return from Mr. Kobayashi? About the cameras or about?
Yeah, I don't want the cameras there anymore.
I'll move the cameras and I'll be willing to drop the lawsuit against.
Yes, because my most concern is I don't need a lawsuit on my ass. You know, because I just
yeah.
You
I
are
don't have a
fighting
job
for
anymore.
your
Yes, I'm
kids.
looking for
I
a
can
job.
understand that you're in a tough situation, especially with your wife and your kids, and you know we all go through rough patches in our lives, and I can at least have the decency of understanding that much.
Okay, so Mr. Smith, it seems that you are actually willing to pay the money to fix the yard.
Yes, I'm willing to.
You're willing to pay for the whole price to fix the yard. Or
Actually,
Mr. Gobayashi is not actually asking for the money itself. He's actually asking for you to go and get a contractor and for you to work with the contractor to
Restore
get it done.
back to the way.
Yeah, but I don't have time for that right now. I gotta find my
well,
job.
I think you're gonna have to find
my
some
kids.
time for a lawsuit then, because I don't have time for that.
So is there any other way, Mr. Smith or Mr. Kobayashi? Mr. Smith is offering up everything that you asked for, the entire price. Is there any way that you would be willing to take the money to hire your own contractor?
$3,500.
He's offering $3,500, but he's just saying he doesn't have the time to
do it himself.
To get the contractor and to work with the contractor on the repair. Is that correct, Mrs. Smith? Okay, so
Yeah,
Mr.
I can see that
would you be
being
willing to
possible resolution to our issue.
the exact amount in money?
$3,500. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll sign on that.
And you as well? Okay, so why don't I'm just going to go ahead and go ahead. Write up a contract, so let's go ahead and go over because unfortunately the verbal agreement is not enough and I am going to need you guys to go ahead and sign what we just discussed. So I wrote here that Mr. Smith, you are willing to pay Mr. Kobayashi and Mr. Kobayashi Sr. in the amount of $3,500.00 to restore their yard and to go specifically to a contractor to do that. But your condition is that all the cameras be removed from their house.
Moved, not removed.
Yeah, move. You can move it, but
Is
not
that
facing my house. Yeah.
Okay, so they cannot show Mr. Smith's property on your cameras.
Yes.
And
Sure.
there cannot be any future
And I
conflict
want
with the
respect.
cameras.
Like he.
Well, you're gonna have to earn respect. That's not something given.
Who
So-
are you two? I need
Don't
some
tell me
respect.
who I am. Okay.
You're just some guy claiming you have koi fish. Like.
It wasn't
Whatever.
a claim. It
So,
was facts.
I just want to make sure everyone's okay with what we are trying to agree on. If not, you guys can let me know if there's any more conflicts, that maybe there's something we haven't brought up or any other conflicts. Or
I
do
can't
you
think
feel-
of any at the moment.
I don't know if I'm hoping that it can be resolved, but I just want to make sure before I have you guys sign. So we are agreeing with that situation, and let's see. So go ahead and sign right here, Mr. Smith. Okay, and Mr. Kobayashi. All right. Thank you so much. So I just want to. Thank you so much, Mr. Kobayashi. Very, very nice. So I just want to let you guys know that it sounds like you guys both have had very similar feelings about being neighbors, and that you have both felt uneasy and unsafe in your own homes. And I'm hoping that you guys have seen through each other that similar feeling, and that maybe you guys can come together and try to work on that and be better neighbors towards each other, or just see that you have the same basic needs to just feel safe and feel belong in your neighborhood. And maybe you guys can go out of your way a little bit to make each other feel respected and just safe. Does that sound like something that is possible between you two?
Sure, I'm willing.
So you guys feel that anything has helped in the situation from this mediation? Did you guys learn anything new?
Yeah, I think we came to a decent resolution. I think I'm happy. I don't know about you, but I'm very happy with the results.
I'm so happy to pay that much for sure.
You are?
No, but too.
I mean, I don't want you to feel it's meant that that.
I'm just glad that this is gonna be over. You know, all of this.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys feel good leaving this mediation today?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so thank you guys for being here, and hopefully you guys can improve upon your relationship as neighbors.
Hopefully.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Oh my god.
I think he's so bad.
I was like 35,000. Wait, what?
I know.
That's so much.